Doll Mountain Campground is located just 25 minutes southwest of LJ in north central Georgia. This is an Army Corps of Engineer campsite and is located on Carter's Lake. We recently had the opportunity to stay at this campground for 4 nights, so here's our overview of the campground, and be sure to stay to the end of the video to hear our pros and cons. Hey everyone, it's Steve from Getting Fresh Air and welcome to Doll Mountain. So we're right here at the ranger station, right at the check-in here. And one of the unique things here is that it is a self-check-in gate here. Kind of new times, COVID, post-COVID for the touchless type thing. So you do have to have a registration online. But once you're registered, you just come in, take one of your check-in slips here, fill it out with your information, drop it in this box, and then at your campsite on the number post, your actual check-in card, your registration card, and your car tags will be at your campsite already. Now here they have basically 2 types of campsites, either RV sites or tent sites. The tent sites are mainly walk-in sites. Obviously, you can put your tent on an RV site if you wish. On the RV sites, there's power and water, but there is no sewer. But up at the top of the hill, just inside the gate, you do have a dump station here, so you can take care of all your needs as you're leaving. All right, and let's talk about the RV sites. I say they only have tent sites, they have RV sites. But from what we've seen walking around, it looks like the RV sites are kind of in 2 different areas and in 2 different, I'm almost call one a premium RV site because it's got full concrete pads, and then the other RV sites area doesn't have a concrete pad. It's more just a paved area for your trailer or your vehicle to park on, but both, as far as their setup, both have the power and the water. So it's just a matter of you want a huge concrete pad or you're fine on paved areas with a little bit of gravel. Okay, so looking at the map here, you can see the ranger station right here, and then one large peninsula and one smaller peninsula. The smaller peninsula is where you have the more, what I'm calling the premier sites, the premier RV sites that are all concrete pads. And then once you get out here, they're the gravel and paved RV sites, and then you can see all the various walk-in campsites throughout the larger peninsula there. Big problem, or not a big problem, but one of the main, I guess, downers for me for this campsite is that there's only 2 bathhouses. One's at the top of the premium loop here, and then one's kind of centrally located here, but that is a huge loop there, and that's the only 2 bathhouses. So be ready to walk, or hopefully you got your scooter or bicycle or driving or something, because when nature calls, you're going to have to do a little bit of a hike unless you got one of those sites right by the bathroom. Another unique thing here is that most of the dedicated tent sites are walk-in sites. It's not that far. They have dedicated parking out on the main road, and then you have to take a little walk in. It's not a big hike, but they are off the road, so it's interesting. So let's walk in. Here's sites 18 through 20. They're tent walk-in sites. Let's go take a look. You can see here, of course, leaves are covering it, but there are parking areas right off the street for your vehicles. There is a water point right by the parking area, and then a short walk in. Here's site 18 right away, so you can see how short of a walk that was. And this one's kind of a two-tiered area. Got a large tent pad. Looks like a lantern pole, a grill, a picnic table, and then you do have a fire pit down there. So let's walk down and check out 19 and 20. Oh, here's, I'm assuming 19 right here. And we'll walk down and find the other one out on the point here. That's another nice thing about this area, this campground, is that I'll show you in the map here in a little bit, but all the sites, there's basically 2 peninsulas out onto Carter's Lake, and all the sites are along those peninsulas, so really just about any site has at least lake views, so that makes it really nice. So let's get down to these sites and see what they look like. Alright, I am not seeing a number, but here's one campsite here, a tent campsite again. And then just look at this, look at the lake view right here. Beautiful. Well, this is kind of interesting because here's one marked. It's like they got secondary sites within them, because here's site 19, tent pad, tables, fire pit, all that. Directly across from it is another setup. So I guess maybe you can have 2 groups of people at each site or something, I'm not sure. But again, look at the lake right there, look at the views. And then site 20 must be all the way down on this point, because again, you can see the water on the left side, water on the right side, and then water coming up in front of me. So site 20 is all the way out on this point. That's got to be gorgeous. Yeah, how about this? Look at this tent site. Totally surrounded by water on 3 sides here, out on this point. Look at that. That's amazing. And like I said, this is just one of the many tent site walk-in areas. So all of them are like this. This whole peninsula that goes out here is all RV and tent sites along there, so you're on the water. And then this is the other peninsula with what I'm calling is more the premium RV sites. The ones with the concrete slabs are on this peninsula, and I'm not sure if we could see us or not, but it might be just out of view. Let me see here. Well, you might be able to see that one big bus RV up on the hill there, and we're right next to them, so I don't see us, but I can see the bus that's in the site right next to us. All right, so the hike out of site 19 and 20, as short as it is a little bit of an uphill here, so it's not a long hike, but it is a little bit of a steep grade. Excuse me. And just considering, I guess, depending on what camping equipment you brought with you, you know, trying to tote coolers or whatever back up the hill as you're leaving, maybe a little bit of a challenge. You can see I'm out of breath just walking up it. All right, so we're here on Veterans Day weekend 2023. So you may be thinking as you're looking around at the video here, it's like, Steve, this is kind of empty. Where is everybody? And it's not that it's a bad campground, it's just it's one of those seasonal campgrounds. So they actually close for the season next weekend on the 20th of November. And then I'll look up when they open back up sometime in the springtime, and I'll put it at the bottom of the screen here. But it is seasonal campground. We're in the last week here. You can see this is the gate into the larger peninsula area, and it's already closed. So the majority of all the I guess standard RV sites and the walk-in tent areas is closed for the season. The only thing that's open right now is the premium RV sites on the smaller peninsula, and we'll head that way now because that's where we're camped. All right, so the campground has 2 bathhouses, one on each of the main peninsulas here, and the one that's on the premium RV site is a little more modern in my opinion, and it has the individual rooms, if you will, where you go in one room, it has the toilet, sink, shower all together. It's not a men's room and a women's room separately. Over on the bigger peninsula, where all the walk-in sites are and the standard RV sites, they have the normal men's and women separate bathhouses. By this bathhouse, there's also a rather nice and new playground here. One of the things you'll see too on the nicer RV loop area, the shorter RV loop area, is that the sites are kind of split half and half. About half of them are pull-through sites and half of them are back-end sites. So even some of the back-end sites are right up against the road, but it's a short loop. It's very quiet. That's another benefit of this campground that we found this weekend. We've been here for 4 nights now, and it is super quiet here. Even Friday night, which was kind of the peak where I think most of this loop was full, it was still super quiet here. So being like this guy here, you know, it's a back-end site, but it's right up against the road here. Doesn't matter. There's no traffic on this road. It's very quiet. And there's our site, Site 7. It's a nice water overlook. Alright, so here we are down at the end of the premium loop. You could see some nice campsites here. Again, we're empty because we're end of the season here, but some of them have some red tags on them where people are coming in today or whenever for the last week here. But you could see when I'm talking about these premium pads here, they're all concrete, large concrete pads. You do have your power and water, you got a fire pit, you got a barbecue grill, table, lantern rack, and then each site, and they're vary because the ones in our site's a little bit smaller, but you do have a gravel area too, which is a tent pad. So if you wanted a tent on one of these sites and still have your power, water, all that type of stuff. Now, a little insider secret I figured out over the last few days we've been here is that most of these, even though we're on water sites, most of them it's really steep to get down to the water. However, Site 9 and Site 10 right here, it's not as steep, and as long as nobody's here like right now, or you feel comfortable walking through other people's site, which I think is kind of a no-no, there is a path that's a lot more gradual that can get you down to the shoreline. So whether you're wanting to go fishing, maybe put a kayak out. I know Angus and I walked each morning. We walked the beach or the shoreline a little bit. So this is an easy way to get down to it off of Site 9 or Site 10. Everywhere else, it's a lot steeper, and you're going to have a challenge getting up and down out of there. But look at the size of this. This is Site 10. Look at the size of this concrete pad. Even 11 right next to it. And you're all down at the end of this cul-de-sac. So it's nice and quiet. The only downside of it is you're probably half a mile from the bathhouse. So either hopefully you're self-sustainable, or you have a bicycle, scooter, or you're driving your car, or you like to take a walk every time every time nature calls. Here we are at Site 7. There's Nova. She got a little muddy this weekend on a trail ride. We'll put a link in the description below for that trail ride that we did this weekend while we were here. You can see our site still, even with our little teardrop, huge concrete pad, a little bit of a tent pad there, smaller than some of the other tent pads I showed you. The pups must be still in taking a nap, and there's Miss Kelly.
Good morning.
What's we doing, baby?
We're trying to make some cinnamon rolls on the Omnia this morning.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. So, been showing them around a little bit, the campground, and talking about some of the pros and cons and all that. What are maybe one pro, one con that you have here?
Oh, pro, it's very quiet. It's the sites are super large. But you know what the best pro? There's a winery 13 minutes away.
Yes, there is a winery, and multiple. There's the closest one's
There's
about
multiple wineries.
the closest one's about 13 minutes away driving, and then there's I don't even know how many in this area of North Georgia. So if you like wine, there's a lot of vineyards and wineries to check out.
Definitely so.
What about a con?
I would say the cons are definitely the bathroom situation. Of course, we don't have a bathroom, so they're very far away and very sparse. So they need to add like 1 or 2 more bathrooms and make them a little easier to get to. Other con that I thought of is like there's not like a general store or a grocery store super close. I think the closest one was probably about 30 minutes away. So
That's true.
you need to
Yeah.
have,
Didn't think-
if unless you want to get back out a lot, you'd have everything packed and ready to go.
Yeah, so that's a good point. There's no store here, even firewood. There's no firewood, no ice here. So once you get here, hopefully you have what you need, or like she said, it's a 30-minute drive away to a real grocery store. I think there might be some Dollar Generals sparsed here and there, but yeah, it's a drive to go find supplies if you don't have them here. One other con I did just think about too is this is a rather large plot of land anyway. I think there's only 47 total campsites, but it's over a large area of land. But there's no hiking trails here, which is unusual for a campground, especially a campground this large, to not have any hiking trails right at the campground. Like I did talk about, the water is down on the lake a little bit right now, and you can get down there and hike on the shoreline, and there are some hiking other areas on the lake itself. But if you're one of them that likes to just get up in the morning and go for a hike right from your campsite, there's no hiking trails here. So, but overall, a tree just fell over in the background there. I don't know if you heard that. But overall, I think we really enjoyed this area. It's super quiet. It's been a nice weekend. We did some trail riding. Like I said, we'll put that video in the description below. We did some hiking elsewhere. And then we visited some wineries. So it's been a fun weekend, huh?
Yep. Steve's got to go. Got to make my coffee.
All right,
Bye.
time to make coffee. Let's see these cinnamon rolls in the Omnia oven. All right, we got coffee, we got cinnamon rolls, and we got a nice quiet view. So we'll see you next time out there getting fresh air. Be sure to check the description for more information on this campground, or drop your questions in the comment area and we'll get back to you. All right, we'll see you on the next adventure.